Good evening, traders. It's October the 4th, 2010. It's Monday. It's about 12:08 a.m. But I really felt that I needed to get you guys some kind of information about some plays that you could look out for this week during your trading. In case you guys spent time with your family like I did, you might not have had a lot of time to get your own plays. So I just want to show you a few things that could potentially give us some huge profits. Last night I was up pretty late flipping through charts, flipped through about 300 charts in the Russell, and I read a bunch of information about options. I looked at all my options charts and everything. Anyways, first one I'm going to look at is SunTrust, symbol STI. And I hope you guys can see this. I'm trying to make my chart a little bigger and I hope it works out. Anyways, we reported earnings midway in July, right here as you can see. We were declining, we got below the 200, we were bearish, then we reported and we jolted up. So I'm assuming we beat. I don't have that information right now. I'm looking at it from a technical standpoint. We put in a high of 27.05. Now ever since then we started declining in August. This is August right here. This is where August started. All the stocks were terrible in August, so even if we beat, stocks were declining, financials were leading the way down. This red line is the 10-day moving average, just to let you know, and this blue line is the 200. Now we set below the 200, the bears came in, they knocked it down. Then we reported a dividend right here late part of August. Ever since then, we had the huge rally just like everything else. Right here, I'm not sure the exact date, it looks like somewhere around September 20th or something, we came down. The bears try to take control. They try to sell below the 200. When they got below the 200, we were met with support at the 50, support at the 50-day moving average. Then they bounced it right up. They try to test the 200 once again. There it got bought up. Now this stock has a lot of calls bought on it on Friday I was looking at. And as you can see, we're in a slight uptrend that we could draw right here. And we're above all these moving averages, which is very bullish, and we're still above the 200. Now I'm looking this week. I showed you guys in my Friday video that I think the financials could be an outperformer this week and potentially finish in the top 5 in the sectors. If that happens and the S&P and Dow run up and test the May flash crash highs, and the Dow guns towards the previous high that we put in after the flash crash high, then I feel that this stock really could get a jolt and head up. And I'm looking for a long in this. And personally, I'm going to probably use this week as a buying opportunity. Now when I say I'm going to buy something, I'm not recommending it for anybody. I just want you guys to know what I'm thinking when I'm going into a stock. If you guys disagree with me at all, please write me comments, because I love to get some more information from you and how you guys are thinking about this. If you guys have information, please give it to me. I'm trying to make this a little community so we can work together. Next one I'm looking at is ConocoPhillips. Now this one looks really, really good, and I'm going to show you why. We have an uptrend going on right here. The bears try to sell it down like they did and everything. We had the huge September run up like we did. I mean, S&P finished up the highest in 71 years, and we have a high that we put in back in April at 60.53. This is the same place we put the high in the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ before the flash crash happened in the May 6th. So we came down, they sold it off, just been trading in a decent range. Like this stock trades really good. You catch a couple point moves within a weekly time frame like it's nothing. Anyways, 58.03 is the August high we put in. And then we have this high dating back from June, which we've closed above in the last 2 trading sessions. Now it looks like we poked our head at 58.09 here on Friday, but we got to close at 57.86, so that's below the August high. Looks like we reported earnings here in the late parts of July, and they beat, and they've ran up since then. They sold it off, met support at the 200, very bullish. They bought it up, and as you can see, this up move has increasing volume, especially the last few trading sessions. We're trading above the average volume, which is very bullish. Right now, I'm definitely bullish on ConocoPhillips, and this is another one that I'm not only going to day trade tomorrow, I'm actually going to be looking to buy calls in this. As long as we could stay above this previous high that we put in back in June. And I drew a line here so you could see it, this 56.95, which was the June high. So watch ConocoPhillips tomorrow. Next one I'm looking at is symbol COCO, Corinthian Colleges. Now this one has went from a high back here in April from 1931, and it's sold all the way off to 423. Since then we've had a little 3-point bounce, and we got a close at 719 on Friday, and the high was actually 730. So it looks like we got a straight 12-point move down exactly. Now these are Fibonacci retracements, these lines that I drew, and it looks like 780 is going to be the 23.6% retracement off the low that we put in here in August at 423. Now if we could get up past these, we're going to encounter a little more resistance around this 862, which was the July low. We could potentially head up to the 38.2. That's kind of my target for this stock. And it's the 100-day moving average is at about 914. Eventually, the 200-day moving average is declining, pretty much just like the 100 and the 50. But the plus thing is that's the 50% retracement, which is around 1178. Now there has been a lot of call buying on this one here, and as you can see, the 10-day moving average is turning up, and we've broken out of this downtrend dating back from the high all the way, and we connected it through the high that we put in July. That's this little teal turquoise color downtrend line going on. Now on Friday we got a close over the 50-day moving average, and we have an ascending 10 and a 21-day moving average. Until this starts getting some selling pressure, I can only be bullish on the stock, and the average volume is about 1.9 million shares a day, so it trades decently. Now this is another one I'm looking at for a long. You already have my targets, keep this on the radar. Next one we're looking at is symbol ICO, International Coal Group. Now this is another one, and this is another one that reported earnings on July 28th, and they actually beat. They beat by 3 cents. And after they reported, as you can see, they were hanging around the 200-day moving average, and they got a jolt up. And this has basically just been a bullish consolidation going on here. We finally broke out after we tested this 200-day moving average again, and then the 10-day turned up, and we just started presuming up. We held support at the 21-day moving average, and ever since then we've been going up. It really does look like we're trying to take out the April high at 571. If coals get a boost this week, this ICO is going to pop. So look at 571 for some resistance. Now I'm looking at ICO on the weekly time frame, and we put in a high back here of July 2009 at 1390. I also drew the Fibonacci retracements on here, and it looks like this 598 is the 38.2% retracement. So the 571 is the one that we need to surpass, but the next level could be around 598 if we get a sudden jolt in buying. And as you can see, we have ascending volume dating back for the last 3 weeks. And we're above all moving averages, including the 200 on the weekly time frame. ICO looks pretty bullish. Now if the coals start going, another one to look at in the coal sector is symbol PCX, Patriot Coal. This one has another interesting chart, and I really like this one as well. Now I'm going to go over here. It looks like we had increasing volume on Friday. This is the 50-day moving average. The 10-day moving average is turning up. We got to close above the 50, and the 21 days moving up. Now if we get some buying coming in this week, look for this 1306, which is the 100-day moving average, to be some resistance. Alright, so this white line that I drew right here is 1191, so we got to close actually above it at 1195. So as long as we could hold 1191, which is a December low from 2009, and it stretches all the way across, and it actually was a September high as well. So this is a critical level, and the 100-day moving average is actually right by the 23.6 fib retracement. So this level looks pretty good if we could hold over 1191. This one I could potentially add in my swing account for calls as well. Nucor, symbol NUE. This is one that had also a lot of calls. Now remember, Goldman downgraded X and they said the steels were looking weak. Well, we've had a collapse in the steels. This is the day that Goldman came out and said that in the mid parts of September. Ever since then, we've declined. Now, obviously, the big players think that we've sold off too much. We put in a low at 35.71, which was a one-year low. And then they had a dividend, looks like a 36 cents, and ever since then we started going up. We got to close at 38.87. And the 50-day moving average is at 38.66. We also got to close above the 21-day moving average, and the 10-day moving average is now starting to ascend. I think we could get going, and if we do, we need to take out for a move up to the 200-day moving average this 4090 level, which was the previous high that we put in September. Now, I will be day trading Nucor tomorrow, that's for sure. Maybe to the long side, maybe not. I think that Nucor could get a pretty big pop that leads us up to this 39.97, which is the 100-day moving average. That's going to be the next line of resistance. So we'll see how this plays out. Principal Financial Group, symbol PFG. Now this stock looks just like SunTrust Banks, the stock that I also showed you that had a lot of calls on it. PFG is also bullish, and they had very active calls on Friday, a lot of open interest, but that's not telling us a whole lot, but there were some decent volume that came into it. Now we put in this 2089 low back here in February, and then we actually didn't retrace it. In the later parts of August, we just had that huge run up. Now we've been consolidating from probably about September the 10th until now, and just in this consolidation mode, but we've been hanging above the 200-day moving average ever since then. If we could bust out of this consolidation, look for a pretty big move up, and we'll just start using 28 and then eventually 29, 30. We could find resistance lines, but we have to bust out of this consolidation. So watch PFG as long as STI. My video time's getting short, so I gotta go over these quick. Alright, Humana, symbol HUM, heavy call volume. If we could start getting some buying during this next week, you notice this little sell-off we had here was on declining volume. That's bullish. And now we have a descending 10, which I don't like. But if we get some buying this week, look for 51.39 to be a resistance. If we get a close over it, look for us to run to the 1-year high of 52.66. FLR, Fluor Corp, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Anyways, looking like we have a bullish consolidation. I will be day trading this one. We have an uptrend dating back from July. Looks like we got a close over some previous resistance in late parts of July. We beat earnings when we reported in July, and we just gave out a dividend. So let's look for a move back up to the May flash crash high around the 54 level. Skechers got 2 downgrades last week, but as long as we hold above 21.83, it looks like Skechers could get a bounce back up to the 27.57, which is the 50-day moving average and the declining trend line dating back from the June high. Skechers looks decent. I might buy some calls in this. I'm not 100%, but it looks like the October 25s were very active on Friday. Last one is Semiconductor XR. I put this as a comment. Soros added to his position. Look at the increased volume right here. Looks decent. Keep this. Good luck, guys. This weekend I'll do some more videos on stocks, and I'll, of course, have my daily update video.